Two top aides to former Vice President Mike Pence have testified before the January 6 Select Committee this past week. Both reportedly refused to discuss direct conversations with Trump but otherwise only declined to answer a few questions. Mark Short, Pence's chief of staff, sat for an interview with the committee at the end of January in response to a subpoena. Short was present at multiple crucial moments during the end days of Trump's presidency, including a January 2021 meeting when Trump and attorney John Eastman attempted to convince Pence to overturn the election. Greg Jacob, former chief counsel to Pence, also testified on Tuesday. Jacob was part of the legal team that pushed back on Trump's and Eastman's conspiracy theories about the election and efforts to pressure Pence. Eastman, who was advising Trump, sent Jacob an email during the riot blaming Pence for causing the violence at the U.S. Capitol. Jacob then defended Pence's decision to certify the election results, placing blame on Trump's associates in an unpublished op-ed that read, "In the days and hours leading up to the counting of the electoral votes in Congress, a cadre of outside lawyers to the president spun a web of lies and disinformation, to him and to the public, for the purpose of pressuring the vice president to betray his oath to uphold our laws and the Constitution of the United States. That was a fool's errand." Vice President Pence rejected the spurious legal theories that were pitched to him, and he did his duty. An inquiry should be made into whether the president's outside lawyers did theirs. Numerous other high-profile witnesses met with the committee in recent weeks, including former Attorney General Bill Barr had an informal conversation with the panel regarding his knowledge of Trump's planned seizure of voting machines and attempt to install Jeffrey Clark as Attorney General. Former DOJ official Jeffrey Clark sat for roughly 2 hours with the panel on Wednesday. According to CNN, Clark pleaded the Fifth more than 100 times. Oath Keepers leader Stuart Rhodes virtually testified before the committee from a federal detention facility in Oklahoma, where he is being held on seditious conspiracy charges. According to his lawyer, Rhodes took the Fifth for some questions and answered others. Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones told his audience that he pleaded the Fifth almost 100 times during his virtual interview last month. He also said that his White House connection was Republican fundraiser Caroline Wren, who organized the January 6 rally, but did not actually work for the administration. "I saw my text messages to Caroline Wren and Cindy Chaffian and some of the event organizers right there. So they already have everything," he said. Ben Williamson, a top aide to former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, who is not himself cooperating with the panel, sat for a 7-hour interview last Tuesday. Trump attempted to claim executive privilege to shield hundreds of Mike Pence's official records from being handed over to the Select Committee, but was rebuffed by the National Archives. Head archivist David Ferriero informed the former president that the documents will be turned over on March 3 unless a court intervenes. It appears that, in addition to records related to Pence's role in certifying the electoral results, the tranche of documents may include communications related to Representative Louis Gohmert's lawsuit against Pence. Representative Gohmert sued Pence on December 27, 2020, just as Trump was ratcheting up his pressure campaign against his vice president. Backed by a squad of lawyers associated with Trump ally and conspiracy theorist Sidney Powell, Gohmert argued Pence should assert unilateral control over certification, governed only by the vague wording of the 12th Amendment. The committee is already in possession of over 700 pages of Trump White House documents, transmitted from the archives last month. According to the Washington Post, some of the memos, letters, and emails were torn up by former President Trump and taped back together again. Pro-Trump attorney John Eastman lost an attempt to block a subpoena from the January 6 committee for tens of thousands of emails held by his former employer Chapman University. California District Judge David Carter, a Bill Clinton appointee, found that Eastman's First Amendment claims do not outweigh the urgent public interest. Congress seeks to understand the causes of a grave attack on our nation's democracy, and a near-successful attempt to subvert the will of the voters. In contrast to the significant public interest, Dr. Eastman has identified neither any specific associational interest threatened by production of his Chapman communications, nor any particular harm likely to result from their production. Judge Carter ordered Eastman to review 1,500 pages of records per day, starting with documents dated between January 4 and 7, 2021. Thank you for watching. If this video has been at all helpful or informative, please consider supporting me on Patreon.